Welcome to the TSW and SD National Cyclone Outlook, brought to you by the Bureau of Meteorology. I'm Nathan Donnelly, and it's great that you can join us for this video update. We're having a look at what the Bureau of Meteorology have put out today concerning our cyclone outlook for the season of 2014-2015. And the Bureau are saying that we're expecting an average to below average cyclone season for Australia this season. So what does that look like? Well, that's what we're about to explain to you. So the average to below average tropical cyclone activity is most likely for the Australian region this season. Climate factors which influence the tropical cyclone outlook include the tropical Pacific Ocean, which is currently in an El Nino-like state, and climate models suggest that a late season El Nino remains possible for 2014. Now, the Australian tropical cyclone season runs from the 1st of November through to the 30th of April. It averages around 11 tropical cyclones, sees an average of 4 tropical cyclones crossing the coast, although coastal impacts can be felt when tropical cyclones remain offshore, and has always had at least one tropical cyclone cross the Australian coast each year. So in an El Nino years, though, the Australian continent typically sees fewer tropical cyclones than usual, with fewer land crossings. The first tropical cyclone of the season to make landfall typically occurs in mid-January, later in the season than normal, and in a neutral year, the first coastal crossing usually occurs in late December. When it comes to cyclones, the Australian continent is divided up into 4 regions. The first region is the Western region, which is basically this region here, followed by the Northwestern sub-region. So that's pretty much this area up here. Then we've got the Eastern region, which encompasses this region around here. And then we have the Northern region, which encompasses this area in here. For the Western region, the Bureau are saying that there will be a near average amount of cyclones. So they're predicting that there's going to be about 7 cyclones in the area. So that is just for in this region in here, 6 and 7, and there's a 43% chance that there could be an above average amount of cyclones. So basically this is just saying that the Bureau are saying that they believe there's going to be about 7 cyclones in that region, not necessarily 7 cyclones that are going to cross the coast, but 7 cyclones will form in that region. There's a 43% chance that there could be more than that, but that's what they are predicting at the moment. For the Northwestern sub-region, which is this season up, or this region up here, the Bureau are saying that there's going to be about 5 cyclones in that region, and if I can get my little cursor to work properly, we'll be able to put 5 cyclones up in that region. Again, these cyclones are not expected to all cross the coast. They're just predicting that there's going to be about 5 up in that area. In the Eastern region, which is over here in the Queensland coastal region, our region, they're saying there's going to be about 4 cyclones forming. So there's the 1, there's a 2, there's a 3 and 4 along there. And they're saying there's a 42% chance that this number could be more than this, but this is what they're predicting at this stage for cyclones. And up in the northern region, so now we're talking around in the Darwin kind of region, and also the Gulf of Carpentaria, and those places. They're predicting that there could be 3 cyclones that form up in that region, and there's a 46% chance that there could be more than that. But at this stage, they're predicting 3 cyclones at the moment. Now, the Bureau are saying that this outlook is based upon the status of the El Nino and Southern Oscillation over the preceding July to September period. The Pacific Ocean has remained neutral during these months, but the ocean temperatures have been near the El Nino threshold. The Southern Oscillation Index, a measure of the atmospheric component of ENSO, has been negative through this period. Climate models are suggesting that there is still double the normal chance of an El Nino occurring this summer. So that's about a 50% chance. We'd just like to say at this point, followers, that it's important to remember that before a tropical cyclone forms, it's difficult for forecasters to predict its exact strength and path, including whether it's going to make landfall or not. Along the east and the west coast, fewer than half of the cyclones impact onshore areas, with the majority staying out to sea. Conversely, along the north coast, more than half of the cyclones impact the coast. Tropical cyclones which remain out to sea can still cause storm surges, gales, and areas of heavy flooding rainfall over the land. So even after a tropical cyclone has passed or has decayed below tropical cyclone strength, significant flooding may occur. The impacts of flooding may be more widespread than the area impacted by the cyclone's damaging winds. The Bureau's flood warning services are an integral part of the response to tropical cyclones. So during the cyclone season, ensure that you are well informed of any warnings from the Bureau of Meteorology and instructions from local emergency services authorities. So if we look now at what the Bureau of Meteorology were saying for last year's season, that's the 2013-14 Australian Tropical Cyclones Season Outlook, they said that last year it was a near average cyclone season, and the tropical Pacific Ocean, which affects tropical cyclone activity in Australia, was currently neutral at that time, meaning there is no strong shift expected in the average number of locations of tropical cyclones. The typical Australian tropical cyclone seasons had most tropical cyclones between the 1st of November and the 30th of April. It averages around 11 tropical cyclones, sees an average of 4 tropical cyclones across the coast. So coastal impacts can be felt when tropical cyclones remain well offshore, and on average has its first cyclones cross in late December. They were predicting 7 cyclones to form in the western region last year, 5 in the northwestern subregion, 4 in the eastern region, and 3 in the northern region. So this was for last year, the Bureau's tropical cyclone season outlook. So it's pretty much the same as last year's, and we know the amount of tropical cyclones we had crossing the coast last year. So it looks like this year could be fairly similar to last year's. So, folks, that's about it for this season's National Cyclone Outlook, brought to you by the Bureau of Meteorology. Please do keep an eye on Townsville Stormwatch and surrounding districts' Facebook page for all the latest weather updates about what's going on around the Queensland area. A bit later in the month, the Bureau should be releasing their outlook for the eastern region cyclone districts, so we will be keeping you updated with that as well. And for all the most up-to-date weather details, do check out the Bureau's website on www.bom.gov.au. Thanks for watching.